Hey folks, welcome to Mr. Peace Film Review again. I'm going to give you another retrospective review. This month makes it 30 years since Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was released, and I'm going to give you my own retrospective review of this film. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was directed by Steven Spielberg and it stars Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, Alison Doody, Julian Glover, and two previous cast members who appeared in Raiders of the Lost Ark, John Rhys Davies and Denham Elliott. In this film, we see Indiana Jones on a quest to locate his estranged father, Henry, played by Sean Connery, who's been kidnapped by the Nazis whilst he was on a quest to find the Holy Grail, which is the cup that Jesus used whilst he was at the Last Supper. Henry has been kidnapped by the Nazis, and Indy and his father now go on a race against time adventure to locate the Holy Grail before the Nazis do. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was filmed 5 years after the Temple of Doom, and there was a significant delay between these two films, purely because the Temple of Doom received mixed reviews from critics. Now, when I saw it as a kid at Christmas, I loved it. I thought it was an enjoyable film. But Raiders of the Lost Ark set the bar so high. It was such an incredible watch from start to finish. I can still hold its own today, 38 years on, that any film that came after it at that time had its work cut out for it. And Temple of Doom, whilst enjoyable in parts, the action sequences did come across as a bit comedic and tongue-in-cheek, as did the whole narrative of the film. And Spielberg and George Lucas went back to the drawing board, looked at what made Raiders of the Lost Ark such a phenomenal watch, took those elements and applied it to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and they brought us, which still stands to this day, as an incredible, thrilling entertainment piece from start to finish. That doesn't let up. This is a film that has got excellent performances, a sensible storyline, brilliant action sequences and performances all around, great musical score by John Williams, and a beautiful arc of the father and son relationship between Indiana Jones and his father. What I liked most about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was the fact that we got to see a more vulnerable Indiana Jones and a different personality from Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford played this role beautifully. Because in the previous Indiana Jones films, we know him to be fearless and heroic, but in this film we see a more vulnerable Indiana Jones. We see an Indiana Jones who's trying to build relationships with his father, try to re-establish the relationship with his father, try to win his father's adulation and win his father's respect. And the banter between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford in this film worked beautifully. Even though there's a 12-year age gap between the two, they work really, really well together. And the moments between these two can be quite touching at times and quite funny at times. And what I love most about it is the fact that there is a great camaraderie between the two. Also, what I love most about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was the fact that we got to find out a backstory from Indiana Jones that wasn't shown in the two previous films. So in the opening sequence of this film, we see a young Indiana Jones played by River Phoenix, and we get to discover why Indiana Jones became the way that he was and what were the elements that influenced it. In terms of, we learn how he got the scar underneath his chin, where he developed his fear of snakes, where he got the idea for his outfit, and we also learned where he got the name Indiana from, which was really, really clever. Performance-wise, I thought everybody was great. Sean Connery as the father, excellent. He gave a very, very strong commanding performance, and Harrison Ford and those two worked really, really well together. And Harrison Ford owns this role, and he just delivered another excellent performance as always. Julian Glover as Walter Donovan, who played the main villain in this film, I thought he was great. And Alison Doody, who played Elijah Schneider, who we then discover actually works for Walter Donovan and the Nazis, she gave a very, very good performance, and she came across, she made a formidable opposite to Indiana Jones's character. Also, what I also loved in the fact that Spielberg brought back two of the main characters from Raiders of the Lost Ark, John Rhys Davies and Denham Elliott, who played Sulla and Marcus Brody. And these two play a more significant role within The Last Crusade. Whereas in the first film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, they had minor appearances. This film, their performances are more extensive. When you get a Steven Spielberg film, you know that you're going to be in for a treat of phenomenal performances and great action sequences, and there are some superb set pieces in this film. From the speedboat chase in Venice to the motorcycle chase between Sean Connery and his father when they're being chased by the Nazis, to the final tank chase sequence in the desert. All performed beautifully. And 30 years on, they can still hold their own. And what I like most about this fact that there are some gripping set pieces that Spielberg brings you to the edge of your seat and you think, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then he just brings you back with a sigh of relief and you think, wow. And only Spielberg can do that. One scene in particular where they're at the Night of the Broken Glass and they're burning books, and Spielberg and Indy manages to get his father's Grail diary, which contains the location of the Holy Grail. And there's a kerfuffle, and he accidentally bumps into Adolf Hitler. Yes, that's right. And Hitler takes the book off of him, and you think, okay, what's he gonna do? And then Hitler gets his pen, autographs it, and then hands it back to Indy and walks away. And I thought, oh my word, incredible. And only Spielberg can do that. And there are some, also, John Williams, one of my favorite composers of all time, has composed a phenomenal musical score for this film. Not only the iconic Indiana Jones theme tune, but also the musical score when it comes to father and son, when it comes to the dramatic pieces, when it comes to the comedic pieces, when it comes to Indy walking through the 3 challenges to try to get the Holy Grail. Musical score, superb. And this film won an Academy Award for Best Sound Effects as well, and it was rightly deserved. And this film would have been a fitting end to a trilogy, because this film grossed over 474 million. It was easily my favorite. It was a far superior film to Temple of Doom, and it could have ended the franchise perfectly. But they went and did a 4th one, which was less than appealing and quite boring, but I'm not going to waste any time talking about that. But Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 30 years on, can still hold its own. Still thoroughly enjoyable, still thoroughly entertaining, and can still go toe-to-toe with some of the best action films out there. And I will give this film a very, very strong 9 out of 10. So, that's my review. My retrospective review of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. If you like what you see, subscribe to this channel. Leave your comment with what is your favourite Indiana Jones film, and I shall see you on the next film review.